I start from the idea of having these surfaces being passive as they used to be along the history of painting, and also being active since the modernism, where you're looking at a thing as well. And the material which takes part on this surface is also helps to tell the story that I'm trying to tell, you know. So what I'm representing has to be related to what I'm using to represent it.
Think about metamorphosis. My ability is trying to approach things which are completely unapproachable, which are trying to put together things that must not be together. The glue that connects such things, which is the quality of this glue. A good definition for poetry should be the nicest glue that you can find.
Is a social relationship that we have. It's a spiritual relation because you have this idea of the nature, this infinity. You have also the mountains beside that. This is idea of eternity, you know, and this contrast between verticality and horizontality. You know, all of it, Lígia and Hélio, myself, and many things of the art scene in Brazil is fruit of Mondrian. Mondrian, Pete Mondrian, from your land. This guy, in Brancusi too. But this guy, Mondrian, this guy is very important for us. You know Mondrian, because this thing here, you think about Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro is, the nature of here is that you have this flat sea and vertical mountains.
From the 50s, Brazil took the concrete art, especially the Theo van Doesburg manifesto for concrete art, understanding that it was no longer an issue of updating our artistic practices, what was going in Europe, but mainly understanding that a creative art has to find his or her place in the process of the artistic issues that have not been solved. So Mondrian was absolutely fundamental for Brazilian art, to the extent that in the 50s, Lígia Clark wrote him a letter, an imaginary letter, of course he was dead, but speaking how difficult it is to continue his issues, but continuing there in taking the issues and going further. So Mondrian, the Mondrian that interested the Brazilian artists was that one who could not solve the problems that he put. So the most important work of Mondrian maybe is beyond Vitória Boogie Woogie, because it was a task for Oiticica, for instance, to set free the planes of color from the grid. And that he'll do with the nucleus, with the spread monochromes on the wall, like a jazzistic situation. So it's a very interesting relationship to art history, because it's considering we belong to the tradition of the West, we have a presence of the natives of Africa, but also we have this compromise with history, which is not following what has been done, but trying to stretch, to open up the issues.
This kind of research made by those artists during the 50s was very important to synchronize, to put Brazil in a real dialogue with the question of what reason is the place of reason in art. So not only Mondrian, but all the constructivism, all the abstract geometry was very important in those days to discuss a original research in that field in Brazil, in another Latin American countries like Venezuela with Cruz Diaz and Soto, and in Uruguay and Argentina.